I hate soccer.
I'm so glad I chose here because I didn't know. I had no idea what was out there and what was in here. And how long have the fields been here?
Yeah, so we moved this side of town probably like 2017, 18.
Okay.
And this used to be just it's like a city-owned, it was a an old baseball facility. So
Got it.
it was all like ran down grass fields and baseball diamonds. It was kind of like, I don't know, like you've been to the ESPN.
Yeah.
You know, I used to call it the ESPN Wide World of Sports of like the 1960s. You know, so it was
where
just all
every
wood and
sport-
red down
yeah.
there. But it was, so yeah, we took over then and gradually just built the fields and the facilities like this.
Were those grass fields first and then you changed them to turf? Or
Yeah.
did as soon as you got it, you got turf?
Yeah, it was just like ran down kind of rec grass fields. So they were doing, and it was before my time. I wasn't. I was a director of coaching, but I wasn't involved in the whole process of moving facilities. But yeah, we had like some little kid youth rec programming going on the baseball fields as you do, and then they gradually, figured out financing for it and put in these beautiful turf fields. So we're very lucky, right?
Earlier you talked about the financing and how, because I am pretty sure you guys are the only club that have your own turf fields like this. Now, the Western New York Flash has this, but they rent it out to everybody. And then what ends up happening is they rent out the prime hours because they can charge, and then their own teams start at like 4:25. That's the first starting session. That's pretty early for families to get to, especially at that level. And then sometimes they'll be at like 8 o'clock on Friday, and they'll be at 7 in the morning on Saturday. They get the worst times. Whereas what'd you say? You guys don't let anybody else on there.
Yeah, I think that's what's pretty unique about it. We've tried to do that. It's hard because you get some people that come in and say, like, I want to rent the fields for this amount of money, and it of course, we are running a business, right? You got to keep the doors open and the power on. But yeah, we've been able to like not rent out to other people, which is great. So it's just like we try really hard when we've got some spare times, when you have like school holidays or summertime, it gets a little bit quieter.
Right.
We try to leave the fields open, and that's part of the deal in our partnership here with the city of Kentwood is the fields also aren't locked, so they're open, so like the community can come and use them.
Oh, that's
and,
good.
And we leave that space, and we leave our indoor facility. Like if nobody's using it, Midwest United players are welcome to come and train, which is pretty unique, I think, and it's a cool thing. And obviously not everybody uses it. You know, we've got 2,000 kids in the club, but it's nice for like the kids that are local and the kids that want to train 7 days a week. They've at least got the ability to do so, and yeah, it's a pretty unique thing. I think there's a few clubs that have either long-term deals or have their own facilities, but I think we're one of the only ones that we have them and we don't rent them out to other people.
Okay, you said 2,000 players. Is that only this location? Because didn't you just sign it like a new club in?
Yeah, well, between the whole like club network, we're about 2,500 now. But in this main location, we got about 1,200 players.
Okay.
In our like main branch here, which is the Grand Rapids branch, and then obviously we have a partnership with Score. They got about 600 players. And then we got a bunch of other smaller branches up and down 131, and then we just added the Sturgis branch last week, which is about 600 rec players. So it's a large group of new players to the club network that I think is going to open up some new opportunities for them.
And you guys used to be the Grand Rapids Crew. Were you here during the name change and everything, or the rebranding, I should say?
Yeah, so I was here. I joined in 2009, 2010. Right when the club became the Grand Rapids Crew. So in the past, it was two other clubs, Grand Valley Premier and Grasser, that merged, and Josh Sheldon was the old executive director, and he brought those clubs together, and they became this like giant West Michigan club.
So good.
So when I came in, we were the Grand Rapids Crew, and it was great. I mean, we were huge, had the beautiful facilities down the road. It was a merger of a bunch of different clubs and coaches, so it was really exciting.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, we lived that life for probably 8 or 9, maybe 10 years, and then we became Midwest United, I think, in 2015.
Okay.
Which we just felt like a lot of clubs. I think we were like partnered with the Crew, and at the time it was the old MLS days, so it wasn't. We weren't getting as much from them. You know,
Right.
It's about 4 or 5 hour drive, so wasn't like they were here every month or we were there.
Yeah.
It was mainly, I think, a branding piece and a logo and something that was recognizable for those clubs around the area to see.
Right.
So we felt like we kind of outgrew it and we didn't need it anymore. It also became expensive. Like, you know how those deals work. It's every year the price increases by 20%. And in the end, we're like, all the money we were paying for that logo, we could do something else. And that's why, like, on a napkin, Midwest United became. And we rebranded, which happened, and that brand keeps evolving. And then, ironically and funnily enough, we're now an affiliate of the Columbus Crew. And
now it's more program. And now it's more legit. Would you say?
Now it's completely different. Right?
How does that go? How does that work?
It's just like because Michigan's a free state, right, with no MLS market in it.
Yeah.
They just support us and we support them, and it tries to open up a kind of a two-way pathway for our top players. So, but it's very different the last time. It's not a financial deal, and it's one that their staff just comes to our facility quite a lot. We have kind of open channels for our coaches and our MLS staff to go down there whenever they want, and it's opened up some great doors to our players to get in there. And I mean, they've evolved. If you've been down there, wow! Like when we used to be the Grand Rapids Crew, it was a grass field and a trailer where the players would get changed. And when you go down there now, it's amazing, right? The training ground, the stadium, the old stadium, the new stadium. So the game has just changed so much. So it's been great.
So Crew is Grand Rapids is all of Michigan considered Columbus Crew's territory?
It's free territory.
It's free territory,
so,
just because we don't have an MLS club.
Yeah. So we have Crew has a pretty big presence because I think they have a really good youth network.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's who we've partnered with, and we've had opportunities to partner with a bunch of different clubs, or you can partner with nobody too. A lot of clubs do that and just have free market. But what we found when we first started in MLS was our players were being drawn all over the country, and what was happening is like some of these MLS teams in the middle of nowhere were picking up some 13-year-old from us, right, and taking a 13-year-old kid because they didn't have a team at U12.
Right.
And we knew it wasn't the right thing for the player, but the player had to do it because it's MLS and it's cool, and if the family wanted to do it, they did. And then it just wasn't working out for those players, wasn't working out the right way it should. So the Crew partnership allows us to like have much better communication, two-way. They'll come to us and say like, who are the top players that we should be looking at in the state. Right. We serve as a little bit of an extra scouting resource for them, so our staff will do the same thing with other teams, and we'll get to kind of choose if we have a player that we think is ready, or obviously we sometimes a lot of the time know the individual situation of that player and family, if it's right for them, and if Crew is a good option for them, and some of them it isn't. Right. So we're able to get them in the doors there and open up some doors for them.
When the DA was still around, were you guys in the DA or not yet?
We were in the girls' DA.
Just the girls' DA?
Yeah, not the boys, which is
And then when the DA went away, were you one of the first teams in the MLS Next, or is that a new... Is that... Okay.
Yeah, we went straight in the boys' MLS.
2000...
Yeah, whenever that was
2020.
when it started, yeah.
2020. Wow.
This episode is brought to you by the North American Soccer Expo. If you remember last year when I had Alexi Lawless on, so many of you were blown away and kept on messaging me, like, how did you get Alexi Lawless to talk to you? And to be honest with you, it was the North American Soccer Expo. The Expo has workshops and seminars and field presentations from top coaches and industry experts. I will be there this year. 100%. I'll be set up on Podcast Row. In addition to the podcasts that I'm going to be filming there, I'm also going to have an open hour where any coach at the Expo or anybody at the Expo can come, sit down at the chair, and have a one-on-one 15-minute chat with me, and you guys can just come and chat and talk about whatever you want. North American Soccer Expo, July 30th to August 1st, Novi, Michigan. I'll see you there.
What is exactly your role in the club? Executive director? Is that what you are?
Yeah, so I moved into that role 3 or 4 years ago, which when Josh Sheldon stepped away. I moved into that role, and I was in a director coaching role, so I was heavy on the field. And I just moved into that role right before I took the Western Michigan job too. Yeah. So it was all weird how it all worked out. So yeah, I kind of oversee, obviously the business side, the strategic side of the club.
Yeah.
We do have, we've been lucky the last couple of years. We've been able to bring in, Luke Ruff as our director of coaching. We brought in a technical director last year, which has been amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got age group directors in the different zones that help lead on the field too.
And Rudy's relatively new as well, right?
Yeah. Rudy came in last year. He oversees our Girls Academy program.
Yep.
And then Luke Ruff, Cam Baker oversee our MLS program. And we brought in Owen Van Els last year in a sole technical director role, which has been amazing.
When you guys got into MLS Next, how happy were you that, because for the longest time, those crew boys, right? Like, let me think of one. Not Sean Connery. Yeah, Sean Connery. Yeah, Connery, right? So, was Stacy? Was Jason?
Stacy, yeah.
Yeah.
Greg Timmer. It was all that group. Jake Vanderlaan.
Yep.
Chase Rao, yeah, it was a
Chase.
it was a good group. You know Chase Rao.
Yeah,
goalkeeper world.
Yeah, because I was ODP back when ODP mattered.
Okay.
That's how I know all those boys.
That was a good group.
That group was unbelievable.
Yeah.
But they eventually, some of them eventually left to go to the Wolves to play in the DA, right?
A couple did, but for the most part, the whole group stayed. There was a couple. We actually had a couple of Eastside players on that team driving over. Was it Taylor Mazurek? I can remember Taylor.
Taylor Mazurek.
Yeah.
Yep.
We had a few. So
it
was a unique group.
He left Vardar. Mm-hmm. He was at Vardar.
Yeah.
And then once Matt Pokovitz, his youth coach, left, they were like, I'm going to crew.
Yeah, I mean and they were the end of like the good old days when they used to play against everybody, right?
And it was State Cup, and they played maybe in Region 2 or whatever it was, or MRL.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Back when it was really good, right?
Do you miss those days?
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure.
I mean,
for sure. Do you?
Yeah. I mean, I dream of just one system for everybody. Put all the boys in the MLS Next, and then put all the girls in the ECNL, and just let's tier it out and everything, and promotion, relegation. And then if anybody's unhappy and wants to start a new club, well, you're starting at the bottom tier. Yeah. That's how they do it back at home for you, right?
Yeah, it's hard though, right? Because this club platform world has taken over, which is, and I believe the club platform system it's really good for the top clubs. Like our top platforms are really good. The problem with the club platform side is now it seems like every club in Michigan has a platform of some kind, and 70% of these clubs don't have a team at every age, or they certainly don't have a team of every level. So now you've got these 6-team club platforms driving to Wisconsin to play, and they don't have a U15 team, or they're farming out their U15 team to some other rec club, and it just becomes a little bit messy, doesn't it?
And you're in a unique position being at Western, and you have to recruit everywhere. You have to recruit all the platforms because you want to find those diamonds in the rough. You want to keep on winning the MAC.
Yeah, for sure. That's the plan. Yeah, but we do. I mean, we recruit them all, man. We do. Obviously, we have a great presence in the GA right now, just because we got a lot of really good GA clubs in our region, and with the Midwest United connection. So we get kind of a lot of eyes on that level. But we're obviously at most of the ECNL events, all the big ECNL clubs. But we do recruit in all the areas. I mean, we've got one player who we're really excited about coming in this year. She's coming in from your side of the state. She's from Plymouth Rain. Yeah. And we're so excited about her. She's a stud player.
And what are they playing in? I mean, maybe they're in the new RL and
I think they were always in the old the National League platform, whatever that was called for the last couple of years. I feel like it got a new name every year. And then
GLA or
now this year they played in the ECRL, RL, whatever that new division is, which whatever that is. But it's but for her, she's great, and she's a huge high ceiling. And
how did you guys find her originally?
She came to camp, and she comes from a Western Michigan family, and we'd seen her at State Cup in the old days. We knew who she was, and then she came to camp and just tore it up, and we were like, "Who do you play for?" And she tells us, and we're like, "Wow, why?" And then you just don't see her very often on the east side. Normally those kids get gobbled up by the big clubs, and she's just I got great coaches, I got great people, I got a great team, and that's it. And it's so refreshing to hear it, right? And then she's so motivated, and like I say, we're really excited about her and others. And we've got players from the big ECNL clubs in that system too, but it's there's certainly good players in all of them, right?
Yeah. And it's so important it's like leave no stone unturned. You're always just trying to one up everybody. Yeah. But in this, I haven't looked at your roster recently. How many girls are from Michigan?
A good amount. Yeah, a good amount. With a roster limit now of 28. Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, we have a pretty unique footprint that we're right in the middle of Detroit and Chicago.
Yeah.
And then we're an hour from Grand Rapids. So that's kind of our recruiting triangle. We pick up some Indiana kids here and there. We're a decent location for that. But for the most part, I'd say, 25 of our 29 roster is that triangle. Illinois, Detroit, Grand Rapids. That's
right.
We're kind of a good home for that, right? Most of the players of our level, they want to go, a couple hours away from home, but maybe don't want to be 10 hours away. So
right.
We've had some really good success with that. And I mean, talking on that, if you look at our men's team, I know you've seen them play, our men's team do a great job at Western of finding players in the strangest places.
Right.
The men's side is very different to the women's side, definitely, but they find players in the strangest places, in the most unique places. And they've had some MLS players that have come from premier teams, that no one else took a gamble on. And Chad does a great job of finding the right player that he can work with and get them to that top level.
It's really refreshing that you talked about the girl that you found at camp, because I mean, all the college coaches that I've talked to throughout this whole process of the podcast is seeing them in person in their club environment is by far number one, right? And then after that, then it's either your highlight tape or obviously your emails, and then it's way down the list is sometimes camp. It just depends on the program and the coach.
I think the flip side to it, though, Jason, is I agree, it is, but I think that's mainly out of ease, right? We know that you can go to ECNL in January and you can see 1,000 players,
exactly.
right? And 100 teams that are all good, and
right.
You see teams all play. I would say the flip side of it is you see in the youth game so many times these really good teams, they don't lose the ball much, they don't transition the ball much. Most of them have a coach that watches Pep Guardiola videos and wants to play rondo in their own goal box, right? And the best player can dominate at that level. And if you go watch Division I college soccer, it doesn't look like that. It's a different sport, right? Yeah, it just is. And maybe it's the MAC, but we don't do that. And it doesn't happen in our league. And we've played some really good Power 4 teams, and they don't play like that. So the college game's dominated by speed, intensity, transition moments. So sometimes you'll watch some of these showcase games and you don't see transition moments, right? Because everything's about on the ball. And whereas I think when we bring a kid into camp like that, we can put them into that transitional game, whatever it looks like, because we get to control what we do on that day. So then you get to see them at least try and do the things that we know we're going to do as a team, and maybe the position that she's going to play for us. You can obviously see good players at showcase. I mean, it's not hard to choose she's a good player, she's a good player, but to pick the right player that's going to be a centre midfielder in our team, it's a little bit more specific than that, So I think there's pros and cons to each one. I think it's not as simple to say camp doesn't matter, the same as you can't say showcases don't matter, because they do. It's just, we go to these showcases and you're trying to look for good players, and you got 100 coaches on the sideline and we're all looking at the same two players,
Exactly.
And you don't need a showcase to see that she's really good, most of the time.
Do you or I should say, do you find more players at smaller events where you were at the Jags in January, or when was that, February?
Yeah, that's a great event, isn't it?
Right.
What a great event. Yeah.
Doug brought it up, or maybe Tinny, just about how, at an ECNL event or an MLS Next event, or GA event, it's 24 fields. Did you go to Fest this year?
I didn't. No. But,
so it was 24.
But I know what it is. Yeah,
it's
wild,
incredible.
Yeah.
But it was 24 fields, and one of them brought it up. It's here's only 3 fields, and you can hit all 3 fields within the same time frame and see every player that you wanted to see. And I never thought about that. I'm that's why there's so many coaches here.
Yeah. Well, and also you go and you're seeing in the women's game, maybe the men's game's a little bit different, but in the women's game, for the reality is 80% of our kids are kids that are 2 to 4 hours away. So we go to this event in California, and you also then throw in all the California colleges, all the West Coast colleges, all the East Coast colleges. So yeah, you've got 150 schools on a sideline, but like, it's irrelevant for so many of them, right? When you go here, like, I'm looking at every kid, and every kid is somewhat interested, right? I mean, maybe there's a couple that aren't, but they're all typically Midwest region kids. So yeah, it's a much more focused lens, and I feel like it's much more efficient recruiting, right? Like, and you go to these huge events, the Chanel ones, the GA ones, and it's amazing. But like you say, there's 3 of them, my whole staff are there, and we're all running from field to field, and you're trying to catch 25 minutes of one game, 25 of the other. I mean, you go to that Jags event, you know all the coaches because we work with them every week.
Exactly.
You can talk to them, you can kind of get their inside a little bit. We schedule training sessions and camps, so it's good, man. That's the connection that is recruiting, right? That's how it works.
And how often do you go to these one of these events, like in Florida, and you're going to watch all the Michigan teams anyway?
Yeah, every time, every single time. Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, absolutely. That's what we do. We watch the 3 Michigan Eastern Out teams, and we sit on that sideline, like it's an hour and a half up the road, right? But yeah, that's how it works.
Yeah. It's like the joke that I hear from parents is like, why are we traveling 3 states away to play our B team or something like that, you know? Mm-hmm. But, yeah.
But and like I said, it's not to say one's right and one's wrong, because we get so many great players from that event, right? Like there are so many good players, so many good games. It's just, yeah, you got to find what's right for you, and we found a lot of success with the local kids. And also those local kids like to come to campus too. That's a way that they can get an early, step on campus, meet the coaches, meet the team, those kind of things too, right? Which is important on our side.
Are you on the field at all right now for Midwest?
No. Don't do anything on the field.
That's good. I mean, especially in your role, it's like, well,
yeah, and it was never planned. It just kind of happened. And I say I'm lucky. We've got a really good staff here that do a lot and don't need much, oversight every day. Like we've got people that run their programs, and they try to give them as much freedom within our system and strategy that we can, that they do the on-field stuff. So yeah, it's great like that. And then, like I said, Luke oversees the director of coaching side of things, so the teams, the coaches, what that looks like. And then, like I say, we hired Erwin last year, and the technical director also. He coaches no teams. He's just a full-time technical director, which I might think we're the only club, maybe, in Michigan that has that. Just a full-time technical director that doesn't coach any teams. So his job is just to focus on the technical side of the game and work with coaches, work with players, be on the field. He's on the field most nights, and he's been a huge support for our coaches.
Love it.
Yeah.
How often do you go to the GA events? Because it kind of like you can double up. You're obviously there to support Midwest, but you're also there to, you can recruit.
Yeah, I try to. I try to make it whenever you can. I mean, it's hard because obviously you're managing resources on both sides, at Western Michigan and here at Midwest United. And
it's true.
We always want to send our best staff when you go on the road at Midwest United to all the events, the MLS events, the GA events. We try to send athletic trainers, support coaches, all that stuff. So resources only go so far. And then Western Michigan, the same. I mean, we try to have a presence at every event. We try to, but you've got to obviously handpick which ones are worth the dollars and fit in around our team too, because that's a hard thing. Like right now in the spring, there's events going on, I feel like, every week, but we're also like playing on a weekend, and we have a team on campus, so you've got to kind of split up who goes where and what you can get to and what you can't, right?
Yeah. Wow. I'm still just blown away. I keep on looking outside because I'm just looking at the fields. But I mean, okay, how you as a club, but also as a college coach, dealing with the age change stuff. Obviously, the homegrown is staying with Berthier. What's the GA doing? The GA is changing. Yeah. Everything's changing, and then and your academy teams are changing as well. So can you go into what your thought process is of this?
Isn't it crazy that the homegrown is staying? Like that almost just makes it more complicated for everybody, right? But no, I mean, our staff have done a nice job. They've led it within each program. I mean, obviously the nice thing this time, what I felt, is last time when the change happened, it was super scary for everybody, right? And the kids and the families are all freaked out by it. And it was harder because I felt personally, at least, I struggled to get behind the reasoning. I'd be like, well, it's going to help our national team one day, is what they say, which it really hasn't. And, that doesn't affect our kids in Midwest United, right? Like they don't, maybe there's 0.1% of them that care about that. So that was the reason. I think the nice thing this time is the reasoning is to assist better with college recruiting.
Yes.
And to put kids in a better social environment, which is what they're doing, right? Which is the purpose of our club. So I think at least when you have those difficult conversations about why we're going back to it this year, I think as a club director and our coaching staff, it's a lot easier to look a parent in the eye and say, like, this is why you should do it. It's scary, and everybody's scared about it.
Everybody's
right?
scared. Most of
it's okay. I mean, it'll get there. But I think by the time we get to August, it's all done, right? And everybody's okay, and they'll realize that it's going to be good for everybody in the long run, I think.
Yeah. After their first event or their tournament or their first couple league games, they're like, oh, this is okay.
Yeah. And I mean, we've told everyone they have to play their own age group, and we've allowed a little bit of flexibility, because there is a little bit of flex, right? Like, if the example's always like, we've got a 8-year-old girl who plays on a team right now with 3 friends that live on the same street.
Yeah.
I mean, they can stay on the same team, right, for now. And
Right.
We've told them you're going to kind of have to go your own age as
Eventually,
you get older. But
yeah.
I get it, right? If the 3 of you are best friends and you like the carpool, it's like, we have a little bit of flexibility to make it work, as long as it's right and the kid's good enough to play at whatever that level might be.
Right.
But it's been okay with us. I mean, we're weirdly like 75% through tryouts right now, right? As strange as that is, but it's been okay.
March
you know?
19th.
Yeah, I know, it's wild, isn't it? But it's been okay. Like, we haven't really had much kickback. There hasn't been many issues. The issues that were there have been dealt with, I think, and yeah, it's gone well, I think.
Why did that change? Is it because of the age change, or is it because of girls' high school soccer that for some reason, like, I don't...
You know what, so it's been, my take is it's been weird, because in Michigan, we've been such a strictly ran state by the state association for so long.
Yes, we have.
Which everyone will complain about, but I actually think it brings some, like, real governance that a lot of other states don't have. So
I'll tell you what, New York doesn't have any governance.
Yeah.
I got there and I was like, what in the world where am I?
Yeah. Well, welcome to New York now, because I think that's where we're getting in it. But I think people are going to regret it, right? I think people have complained at the state for so long about the tryout system, which, again, we can probably talk all week about pros and cons of tryout systems, but I've always hated a tryout system, because, like, a club our size, you run a 2-hour tryout and you've got to try and select who's fits where. It's impossible, right? So, like, when we joined the DA and we've been in these other platforms, like, the ID session system is much better for new players, right? To be able to come in, trial, get placed in the right place. But now it's just flipped the other way, and it's the full Wild Wild West with no restrictions. So, like, anyone can do anything at any time. And again, for us, it's been fine, because we're in a market not like Detroit, where there's not any other really, like,
it's
big
just dog eat dog over there.
Yeah, I mean, over here we've got some really good little community clubs that develop great players, but we don't have anyone with, like, full platform systems like we have. And I think the track record of college soccer and that stuff that we have in the USL platform, so, like, for us, it's a pretty unique one that we don't deal with a lot of those things that the Eastsiders do, but it's been good for us. I mean, I read somewhere yesterday some people giving some flack about how crazy it is that people are doing tryouts in March, but I'm like, we've always done girls tryouts in March, just because they go off to high school, so you have to do them last week, otherwise high school tryouts start. So the last few years we've always done girls high school, and, like, yeah, is it going to make for, like, a little bit of an awkward spring for some people if, like, 1 or 2 kids get moved down a team? Yeah, but, like, that's going to be awkward anyway, whether you do it. I mean, the guy who I heard complaining about it was like, we won't be doing our tryouts until April. I'm like, it's the same awkward in April, right? It's like, whenever you do it, it's going to make that same, you know, discussion and same feelings for those players, which is just life, isn't it? I mean, there's no way to avoid that. We put the kids in the right places and we deal with it, right? And that's how it goes. You communicate the right ways. Right now, we figured when we met as a leadership group, we figured whether we do it now or we do it in June, we're going to have some difficult conversations. There's a lot of difficult conversations with the age group change. Like, it is going to be more chaos this year than it's ever been. So it's like, do we start managing the chaos in March and know that we've got time to put bubble players in training environments and figure it out as they grow? Or do we wait till June and do it in a day? And we figured doing it in March was allowed our staff to get ahead of it and, you know, spend more time on the players that need more time, you know.
Do your GA girls play high school?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And we offer a spring program for the ones that don't, but we have one high school team here. Yeah. And that's a change. We never used to, obviously, in the old DA days. But
what do you mean? What do you mean you only have one high school team?
So we have like one high school girls team that just plays here, and they play like a showcase schedule.
Oh,
and we play
got
games,
it.
and then they
And it could be 4 different age groups, obviously.
Yeah, I think it's a 2010 team this year. And then
Oh, okay.
actually, our older girls have just dropped into boys teams. So we have like 5 or 6 like top girls that didn't want to play high school.
That's my favorite thing.
Mate,
I
yeah.
love that. Do they play in games or do they just?
For the most part, they're not. They're just training. But
Yeah.
the nice thing we have is we also have a USLW team that starts in May. So really, like it's spring break, for 2 weeks somehow these days. In April, right? They're going to do we'll take a 2-week break, and then you get back and you've got like 2 weeks of training, and then the USLW team starts. So those older girls, it's a natural progression. They train with boys March and April, and then in May they drop into the USLW team with all the college kids when they get back. So it works. It's a good spring plan for them. It's different, but it works. Yeah, we have one girl right now in our 2012s. I don't know if you've seen her play, London Spencer. She plays full time with the boys, and she's a special player. Yeah, she's been killing it on the MLS team. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's a few girls in the MLS Next that are playing, and
it's unique though, isn't it? Because most of them don't want to do it. They say they want to do it, and then when it gets there, it's weird, right? Or it's socially strange, but like London has embraced it, and man, she's gone next level this year for sure.
What age group is she playing on MLS Next?
2012.
2012. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to come out and watch.
Yeah, you do. You got to check her out. She's a unique one for sure.
Yeah. I personally think that is the best way. That's the best pathway to pro for a female. Like, look at Chloe Ricketts, right? Yeah. She was with the Tigers and played with the boys forever, and then she spent a year or 2 with Jags, and then boom.
Yeah. I think it's a balance, isn't it? I always tell parents, like, I think, and who knows what's wrong, right? It's different for every player, but I think it's a balance between finding a comfortable environment that you feel like safe and you feel like you have fun and you can be the best player and you can score the goals, you can be the leader, and a really uncomfortable environment. And I think you've got to find a line in between those two. You can't have one or the other, right? Because if you just are uncomfortable all the time, like, you probably don't love the game, right? And if it's got to be a balance. I think like London creates that, right? Like, she's in this uncomfortable boys full-time environment that's hard and it's weird, and for a 13, 14-year-old kid, that's a strange environment every day, but it's uncomfortable and it pushes her. And then she drops in every now and then and like plays with the 2012 girls just to stay connected with her friends and her classmates. And I think when you have that balance like Chloe had and some others, I think it's great, right?
Do you think it's harder for her to get used to playing with boys, or is it harder for the boys to get used to playing with her?
I don't want to pretend like I've been there a lot, because I haven't. I've watched her play a few times this year. I think it was a big change for her in the game, because at her own age of the girls' game, you naturally can like do a lot of things and dominate physically, right? Just because if you're a bit faster than everybody else and you're stronger than everybody else, you can find that. And then every team might be double teaming you, so you've got to find a way to solve that problem. But I think when you go to the boys' side, teams aren't double teaming you anymore, but the game's quicker. The boys make faster decisions for wrong or for right. Generally, everybody moves a little bit quicker. So she's still physical, being able to like have that physical side of the game, but I think the speed of the game, the speed of decisions is a little bit faster too, the aggression side of it. So, she's had to really work on that, and she's become a much better player outside of just picking up the ball and dribbling. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's the big space that you've got to improve in.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's fun though. You should get out and watch her play. And she'll play with our USL team in the summer too. And it's a fun one.
Really? USLW?
Yeah.
What are you guys on the men's side? USL2?
Yeah.
How many USL2 men's teams are there in Michigan right now?
I should know, but 5 or 6. It's good. It's a great league. Great league. Yeah. Really, really good. Every team is good too. The travel isn't too much, which is awesome.
Right.
Because you've been in those summer leagues where like we used to do it in the old days, and you'd have like 8-hour drives, and nobody wants to do that in the summertime. So, yeah, it's that USL on both sides right now. USLW, USL2 is the quality is so high, and the games are so regional for those kids. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, and we do it as like we don't charge. We're one of the only teams we don't charge people to come to the games, so it's just free and open out here for mainly for our club to come and watch, which is fun, right? Yeah, that's good. We make some good home game days for sure.
Right. I'm just comparing. I've always compared Buffalo to the size and scope of Grand Rapids because the population is the same.
And the amount of snow. Is that similar too, right? You used to that?
One of my best friends just moved out to Grand Rapids, and I'm like, you enjoying this yet? He's lived in like Florida and Denver and California. And then he's like, you know what, I'm going to come home, and he's in Grand Rapids, and he gets a snowstorm, and then like 4 hours later, he'll text me, he's like, did you get it yet?
Yeah.
It's like, it sucks.
I know. It's been crazy this winter.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, this winter, just off the lake, it's been wild, man. We've had too much snow. Yeah.
I was just up at a boys' trip up in Charlevoix, or Boyne City or whatever, and we got that. They got 4 feet in the UP.
Yeah.
And we got hit with that. If we left like an hour later, I'd probably still be up there, and I would have had to cancel.
Yeah, we have that. We have a branch up there in Petoskey, NMFC, and those guys were sending me some pictures and like 4 feet of snow, like last week, right?
It was
insane.
Sunday. It started Sunday and it ended Monday. It was so stupid. Yeah. But yeah, the size, and I always thought about that Grand Rapids crew team, and it's like, why can't Buffalo recreate that there? And is it because of the proximity from Detroit and Chicago? Or
How many teams are there? Are there a bunch of clubs there or not?
No.
Really?
So the Flash, we have one ECNL team, and they're on the ECNL boys, ECNL girls, and then an hour east is RNY. An hour and a half east is RNY, and that is it for those platforms.
What I've always said about West Michigan and Grand Rapids is we're a unique spot, and what I've loved about it, and this is through no doing of my own, or maybe even anyone before me, but we're a big enough city that we've got some really good players, really good athletes, but we're not big enough that I don't think we'll ever, and if we do, it'll be a problem, have like 2 big clubs. You know, like we've got one. Like if you're a serious soccer player, like you play at Midwest United. So it's nice for the most part, and that's why those teams where we've had like teams that have competed at the national level. We had a girls group that won a few national championships right after them. When we get all of the players from this area, West Michigan, the best 12, 15, 16 players, we can really compete for the very top level, you know. And I think the nice thing is, as long as we have one really big club here that the top players get to eventually,
right?
You have that system. Whereas I think in the big cities, it's very hard to do that. But you still have it, right? Like in Detroit, when all of the top players go to one club, whichever one it is for that age group,
exactly.
It's amazing, right? I mean, you have such a high-level team. But I think it's easier for us to do that here at this level. Like,
right.
Not the same level, obviously. The player population is a tenth of the size over here, but I think it's easier for us to get the most committed and like-minded players together than maybe some of the big cities have, because you got so many different people.
Right.
But, I mean, the other thing we have here too is, you know, you got stuck in traffic this morning and it was 8 minutes. Like you can get from one side of town over there to this side of town in 15 minutes. That helps. You know?
That's like the running joke in Buffalo. It's like you can get anywhere in 20 minutes.
Yeah, same here.
It's kind of true.
Whereas in Detroit, like if you're on one side of the city, you kind of probably play for that club, right? Because
I think I texted you. I was like, I just hit a traffic jam. I don't know if I'm going to be there. And it's like, oh, okay.
Well, and then it's normal. Like with some of the kids we recruit in Chicago area, like it's so normal over there that everybody just drives 90 minutes to practice, because that's what they do. You pick your club. If you're playing at Rockford or you're playing at wherever it might be, it's a 90-minute drive, because that's just what it is over there, right? Everything's an hour, so it's normal. I mean, here we don't battle that too much, you know.
Yeah. Okay. How many kids in the club? I mean, this is going to be a hard question, but how many? Do you get any from Chicago? No,
we have quite a population come from like northern Michigan, like Traverse City, Petoskey way, just because we're the easiest drive for them.
What is that? 2 hours maybe?
Yeah, 2 hours to Traverse City, 3 hours to like Petoskey area, something like that. So we have the nice thing is with the club up there, we now have like some options that you can be in our club and train up there 1 day a week. So that helps.
That helps a lot.
And we have the same kind of population come from like northern Indiana, like that northern Indiana area. It's kind of a split whether you come to us or you go down to Indy. So we're right in the middle. So we have a few kids that come here. It's an easier drive, right? If you're coming this way and avoiding the major city, I think is a little bit easier logistically for a lot of families.
That's how it is in like Erie, Pennsylvania kids, where they can either go to the Flash or they go to like Cleveland Force. So
yeah, we're like that. So we have a good kind of right up and down 131. We have like, you know, a lot of kids this side of Lansing that again don't want to make the Detroit drive. They'll come this way too, and yeah, so it's a nice footprint of players.
When you guys at Midwest do parent education on college recruiting, do you kind of head that as a, or is it kind of hard in your position to do that for the club with your role at Western Michigan, obviously?
Yeah, I think it's hard. I mean, I try not to, right? I try to step out of it, just because I think we've got a lot of good people. I mean, and we've just hired some other people. You met Mario this morning, who's overseeing our girls' college recruiting. Luke oversees our boys. Between him and Cam, they coach all the kids. They're very connected in that world. So, you know, I don't really need to much. I mean, obviously, I have some relationships with families that have been in the club a long time, and you know them, and they might bump into you on the field and ask you a question. But for the most part, you try to stay out of it so the programs can kind of run themselves. I did an event with Rudy and the Girls Academy, a couple of teams a few weeks ago. But yeah, for the most part, I try to leave that to them. And obviously, we're here. I think my connection with Western Michigan, what it does for me selfishly, and which is able to help the club, is I think it keeps you connected and keeps you up to date with what's going on in that world, because that's hard sometimes. Because as you know, the college game is changing at like a crazy tempo that we don't really know what's coming in a month or 2 months. You know, and I feel like every month something is changing. So it's nice to kind of stay somewhat connected with that and know how recruiting rules are changing and trends are changing and what that's looking like on the inside for players.
Let's talk about college. I mean, I want to talk about Aquinas and NAIA and stuff, because that's where you were before Western, right?
Yeah.
I want to talk about that, but what is going on with college sports? I mean, it's kind of scary.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, my personal opinions are there. But I guess I always sound like an old school guy when you like take the money out of it and keep it pure. I think it's college athletics is such a pure, unique system in this country.
Yeah.
And I think the money kind of can ruin it a little bit, in my opinion. But it's there, right? We ain't changing it. So you know, the football players, rightly or wrongly, are going to continue to get paid what they're getting paid, which will have a trickle down effect on everything else. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, who knows what's going to happen, right? I mean, you've seen already with the roster limits and the money, and not all the changes too are negative and scary, right? Some are great, right? More money for female athletes in some programs, right? I mean, in my program, we've got an athletic director that's very supportive of soccer, you know, and he values the game of soccer and supports our men's program, supports our women's program. We've got a men's program that is booming, and
they almost lost it when I was playing in college. I actually played against Western, and they almost closed it down. And then they won the I guess, was it the MAC then?
Yeah.
No, they don't have MAC on the men's. Mm-hmm. What does the men's play in?
Right now they play in the Missouri Valley.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they were going to get rid of it, but then they won. They're like, well, okay, we're going to keep this around.
A great alumni support and, you know, a beautiful facility. And, yeah, so we're in a unique spot as a mid-major, I think. But, yeah, who knows, man? I mean, what I think is happening is it's obviously limiting some roster spots at Division 1 has happened in the last year. That's inevitable to see the trickle-down of that. But it's also, in some teams, it's injecting more funds, injecting more resources at some level, which is also going to have a trickle-down effect on everyone, I think.
Right.
And I don't think yet we've seen, like, I know some people are scared of like programs being cut and those kind of things. I don't think we've seen that yet, and I don't know if it's going to happen in the next year. No, we haven't, right?
Talk about the 28 player rule. Do you like it at all? Because sometimes I feel like it does make life a little bit easier after a couple years. Because
how long does it take your players to send out an email to a college coach? How long would it take to send out 100? This is why I have partnered with Athlete Narrative. They have developed an app with the help of AI to streamline the process of emailing coaches. Imagine being able to send an email to every single coach that is at your upcoming showcase. You could email every single school with the help of Athlete Narrative. Download the app in the bio and you'll be able to email every single coach in just minutes. Set up your profile, set up your radar page, and start getting noticed. Coaches aren't going to know you exist if you never reach out. Get noticed. Sign up and get 40% off using the link in the description.
Well, how is it going to make it easier? I don't even know. I mean, I just think it's easier to build relationships with 28 versus 40, like Mercyhurst or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think it's hard for those schools. Like for us, the challenging part for us is we've always built our programs, and this maybe came from Aquinas, and then we brought it in at Western, in that like we'll be the school that will take a late player at any time if it's the right player, and we'll deal with it. So my first year there, we had 32 players on the roster. Then I think we got to 33 one year. But it was always like the right player showed up in July, and we were just like, what a unique situation. Let's go. So I think it's limiting that from happening, which we've had a lot of success with that. So that's hard. But honestly, what it's done in the short term, and I tell this story in our program, is like when I started, we would always look at 7 or 8 players in a class, typically, just general math, right? We've kind of set a policy this year for 27, we got 4, and just 4. And we're not looking for a 5th, we're just going with 4. And then,
so it kind of makes recruiting a little bit simpler, easier?
It depends how you look at it, because it's easier in that we only need 4. But it's
you can't
harder
take a chance on a kid that you see that. If just give me 2 years with her and then she's gonna pop.
Well, the easy thing with a class of 10 is you take 10 and you know that
4 are gonna hit.
Yeah, I always say 3 or 4 you've got to be really right on. You know that 3 you're going to be wrong on, and then it's whatever that middle group does.
Yeah.
That's how I used to define classes. Now we're taking 4. So like,
and you got to hit.
We can't miss on 2, right? If we miss on 2 in a class of 4, we're in big trouble, you know. So you got to be much more specific. You've got to. Now it's the same for everyone, or at least most teams, right? I don't think many teams are recruiting 10 anymore. So maybe a Western Michigan, as an example, we're able to recruit a class of player that maybe we weren't able to get as much before. But again, we're taking 4. So yeah, I think that's the deal, right? So it's easier in that you only need 4, but it's harder that we can no longer be like, well, we're not sure on that one, let's just roll with it. It doesn't happen anymore, right? You can't have those kids on the roster because you have too many of them, and we're in trouble, you know?
Back to the NAIA stuff. I was going to have Scott Dull on from Madonna.
Yep.
But we had to reschedule for next week. So, and I kind of want to just expose the NAIA level, especially on the women's side, because I mean we lose Sienna Heights and stuff like that, and I feel like the NAIA and the JUCO is always the men's path sometimes, and the girls kind of have the D1 or bust mentality. Like, how hard was it to recruit for Aquinas in NAIA?
Yeah, so I think I'm a pretty unique one in the Aquinas world where I was, because Aquinas was such a unique and an amazing place when I was there with it. Like, you know, if you've been there, it's a small private campus, but it's beautiful. It's downtown Grand Rapids. So a lot of these NAIA campuses are like middle of nowhere.
Yep.
You know, like you got to drive 3 hours to find a town, a city, or a gas station, right? Like we were in Grand Rapids. At the time, we were really well funded. So it's expensive. You know, a small private school is like 50, 55 grand.
Yes.
But we were well funded in athletics, so we could get competitive with a lot of D2. And we'd be recruiting with some Division 1 schools. So we were able to get that caliber of player, and our players loved it. I mean, we were able to compete. We were winning conferences, competing at national level in NAIA, and the national level in NAIA was so good, like so different to Division 1. But when you get to those like top 8, top 10, top 20 teams, like so many great international players and different players, but yeah, it was really, really good. So it's a unique one. I know there's, from what I hear and read, there's maybe a few more struggles in that level right now, just with funding, and like you say, you've seen
schools just staying
3 was at Lords, just closed down 2. There's
really?
another one, I think this year. So I think some of those small schools are hurting a little bit in that area. So I think that might hurt it a little bit, but I mean, when you go like down south and you deal with some of the international based programs down there, like wow, there's some real players there for sure. I mean, we had at Western, we got Abby Worthman. I don't know if you knew her. She came from Madonna.
Okay.
And she played 3 years with us, and she's a phenomenal player. Yeah, phenomenal player.
Are they going to get rid of so the JUCO rule where that doesn't count against your eligibility? Are they going to do that in the NAIA?
I don't know. I haven't heard.
Because I heard.
You would think so, right? If they did it last year, you'd think it would keep going, but yeah, I don't know.
I think that would help. I mean, of course it helps on the men's side, because on the men's side, talk about Wild Wild West, the men's side is crazy.
Well, I think that in my vision, and I don't watch it every week, obviously, and don't pretend to be an expert in it, but I think on the men's side too, it's harder to jump on a good Division 1 roster and play as an 18-year-old, right? Whereas I think on the girls' side, if you're good enough, it's more doable, right? Not to say it's easy, it's getting harder, when you look at that top level for sure. Mm-hmm. Like at my level, I think if you're a top freshman, like we brought in 4 freshmen this semester, and like I expect all of them to be pushing for that spot, right? They should be. Whereas I think on the men's side, it's really hard to do that as a 17, 18-year-old, and that's where I think like the JUCO pathway, the NAIA pathway is a great one to get that extra year of development, because those kids are still developing, man. They are, at 18, 19.
That's what I've told like almost everybody is take a gap year on the boys' side. Take a gap year, or go the JUCO route if you really want the D1 experience.
Well, in our club, we have Mario, we met. He's now the new Aquinas coach. He just took that job 2 weeks ago. So he's at Aquinas, and then Luke, our director of coaching, is the Aquinas men's coach. So we have a really good connection there. We actually train there.
I want to talk to both of them.
Yeah. They both do a great job, and Luke's done a really good job with that. Like any maybe Midwest United players who they're real high level players, but it's hard to go from being a top MLS player to Western Michigan, to Michigan State, right, to that level of play. Right. So he's been able to bridge some great gaps, I think, with some of those players going there or going to JUCOs. We've got a really good pipeline and connection with Saginaw Valley and the guys up there. So we've had some different pathways for our men, but all that work, right?
Do you, when you're recruiting or looking at a player, do you see this is going to take her 2 years, or she's going to pop right away? How hard is that to kind of plan out their career, and do you communicate it to them of what you see? Because I see a lot of girls that get frustrated within their first year or two if they're not on the field. Mm-hmm. And then that's when they jump into the portal and everything. And then the coaches are devastated. It's like, I don't want you to leave because I had such good plans for you.
Yeah. Well, I think that's another thing, right, with the roster limit and the transfer portal.
Yeah.
We're in. And I've only been in Division 1 for 4 years, so I've only really lived in the we must win now world, which is what it's been for 4 years, right?
Right.
Like my idea isn't waiting for 4 years for us to develop players and get there eventually, right? He's like, with the transfer portal, you're expected to compete, right? And not to say you got to win every game and every year in college, but that's the goal. And I think gone are the days that you get 3 or 4 years to build your program and build your culture.
Just wait till you get all of my recruits.
Right. I just think it doesn't happen, right? Yeah. And
I mean, look at what happened in Indiana football. Where, right, 2 years and you just turn it over just because of the transfer portal.
I talk to some of these coaches and I'm like, well, we're year 4, we're getting all of our players in now. I'm like, it just doesn't work like that anymore. It doesn't in any sport, right? And especially when our AD at Western, they backed us when we went in to roll over the roster. So it's like anyone that wasn't a good fit for what we were doing and what we were trying to do and type of players, the type of people that we wanted, we told them at the end of the year nicely, you need to find somewhere else to go. Not the old days where you're there for 4 years guaranteed. So I think when they're backing you to make those decisions, which is just where college athletics is going, and bring in 3 new players, 4 new players for the transfer portal, then they also have a right to say well, you should be winning right now, right? I mean, right. That's kind of how it works. So, yeah, I mean, I think, I'll tell you, in my 4 years, we've never sat down with a kid and a family and said, listen, you're going to be great here in 3 years' time. I don't think anyone wants to hear that, right? I don't think anyone wants to go to college and be like, I'm going to sit on the bench for 2 years and grind, and then I'll get there. And maybe that's how the game has changed, So the top freshmen that we've recruited, we expect them to come in and compete. You know, now maybe there's unique ones if you're a centre back and you've got 2 senior centre backs playing in front of you, like you got to be real for that, right? That's happened to us the last couple of years. Or a goalkeeper is a very unique one, right? Like, you know, if you're going into a team and you've got a starting goalkeeper in front of you who's ahead of you, you probably sit in a couple. But I think for the most part, like field players, you've got to find a way to be in the plans, right? Otherwise, in this day and age, you got to look at some other options, you know?
In your first year at Western, did you hit the transfer portal hard, like most first-year coaches do?
Yeah, I think our first year, we had maybe 7 or 8 players that we'd asked to leave or signaled to find somewhere else, and we helped them go somewhere else, which was important. But like, they all found good homes, like Division 2 homes, Division 3 homes, some Division 1 homes, which was good. But yeah, then we were able to bring in 5 or 6 new players that came in right away and impact. And
how hard was that transition from NAIA to D1, and now you're trying to hit the portal, and you're like, because does NAIA have access to the portal?
They didn't back then. I don't know if they do now.
I don't think they do.
Yeah, they didn't when I was in it. Yeah, portal was new, but you know, we've always used, like, me and my staff, we've always used like connections as probably the,
of course,
the
just
lead
talk to
movement.
coaches,
yeah,
get an opinion on a kid.
You know, people, you know, Dougie Steinhardt is always my East Side guy. He knows every player and every position and their home address and what foot they kick it with and everything. So like, you got people like that, right, who you trust, and you know, you build those relationships over people. A while. So yeah, for sure, and that helps. But yeah, it was definitely a little bit different. But we did like, we had 2 players that were committed to Aquinas who came with us and played at Western and played big, huge roles. So like, the level, I would say the level between like who was playing on my Aquinas team and who's playing at Western wasn't that different. The difference in level was player 25 to 28, 20 to 28, right? At Western, that player is really good. At NAIA, it never was. You know, it was a big drop off from player 11 to the next group. It was huge, you know. In Division 1, I think everybody's good. You know, everybody's fast, everybody's athletic.
Right. So the success that you've had at Western, what is that, 4 in a row? 4 regular season in a row, and then how many tournaments in a row?
I think it's 3 in a row.
3 in a row on the tournament?
3 and then 2 tournaments. Yeah.
How? I was watching Miami last night in the basketball tournament, you know?
That's cool.
Yeah. But they're in the play-in game.
Yeah.
They're 31-1, and they didn't get an automatic bid for a regular season. I get annoyed in women's soccer when the regular season isn't a automatic bid to the tournament.
That's crazy.
Is that frustrating for you?
I mean,
it's only one spot for a MAC.
And I grew up in England, so I'm, you know, we all know as soccer people, the regular season, I was telling my team, the regular season is the one you want to win, because that's the best team wins the regular season. The tournament, you have to be the best team, especially in our sport.
Weird
right?
bounces happen.
You've got to be lucky. Like, so yeah, I mean, I bring it up every year. I'm like, guys, can we not ever have like the regular season champion go to the tournament? And everyone laughs at me, which is fair. You know, it's the American system, isn't it? And I get it. It's fun, man. It's exciting.
It makes an 18-game season pointless. You could go 18-0 and not make the tournament.
I bring it up. My staff laugh at me when I tell them, but they're just like, it's the way it goes. I think it's just it's the DNA of American sports, right? And American college sports especially, and it is fun, right? I mean, don't get me wrong, a tournament is awesome, and there's something to be said too for you've got to, and that's what we've done. Like, we lost the first tournament, right? So we won the first regular season and then lost in the tournament, and then we went away and like, there's things that you have to add to your team to be a tournament team. You know, you can be a regular season team, you can be the best team, you just got to be the best soccer team. I think to win a tournament, you've got to have some different attributes, you know. So to try and design both is within one group it's hard, you know. I think we've been able to do it the last couple of years. That team we've had the last couple of years has been good enough to win the regular season, but has also been built with like a tournament mentality that you've got to show up that day, and you don't always have to be great, you know, to win a tournament. You've just got to find a way to be better than the other guys.
Would you say that like the season is more about your depth, and then the tournament is more just about like just being killers?
I think so, yeah. I think tournament is so much about mindset. You know, I think like regular season, if I go back to like that first year when we won the regular season, we were the best team and we had great soccer players, and we knew that over 12 games we were the best. But what we weren't was like, we didn't deal with the pressure well. We didn't get up for the extra one. We didn't have that, and that's why we slipped up. No two ways about it. So I think you're able to go away and work on that. And also we did some recruiting to like bring in some people that I knew would like have a little bit more bite in that moment, point to proof, right? We needed that underdog tournament mentality, which is hard to have too when you win the regular season, right? It's hard to turn around and be an underdog.
You have a target on your back every year.
So we worked on it and we tried, and like I say, it's certainly not science, is it? It's hard, but I thought this year in a tournament that we won was a great example of it. Is that we won the regular season and we felt we were the best team all season. But then we went in the tournament and we won like every game, just an ugly 1-0. You know, and the year before we won it like 5-0 and 5 the teams we played against Buffalo actually, and we put in like a perfect performance. This year, like we were just scrappy and just like hard to play against, but almost I'd say we felt as a team maybe more confident this year, just because that's the DNA of the team. You know, we didn't give up sloppy goals, we didn't make many mistakes in areas that would hurt us, and we always knew that like we'd find ways over the line if it went overtime or penalties. Like we had a good confidence in those areas, which I think you've got to try to have, right? And that's the fun of the tournament thing too. I get it. It's like when you get there, that's fun for the kids, and it's fun for the game, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, we're all tuning into that basketball tournament right now, right? I guess.
Absolutely.
If it was just regular season's over and Michigan wins it all, it would be like, that was pretty boring, wouldn't it?
That's got to be hard for you to say.
It is for sure. Yeah.
I mean,
and also my basketball knowledge, I don't even think they're the top team, are they? So I'm not an expert.
No, they aren't right now. I think Duke is like number one or top over.
Shows what I know.
I think, okay, on the men's side, well, I guess it's not MAC, but Akron can win a men's national title. I asked Andy Stutz this from Ball State. Do you ever see a MAC team being able to win a women's national title?
So my leadership in the program believes that you can. And I think that's great. And I think we believe that you can, right? I think the great thing in the game of soccer is you can't say that like a MAC team couldn't beat that team.
Correct.
They can.
Yeah.
Now, is it going to happen? Would you bet on it? Probably not.
Right.
But like it can happen. You know, I think that's the thing. I think in men's it's more likely. I think there's less teams and there's less Power 4 teams that have much more resources than we do. That's why you see was it Vermont and
exactly.
Marshall and I think Western Michigan can do it. I think they're really close to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think the women's side is harder because you do have a gap in resources. But listen, that's the game, man. Our game. I mean, our hockey team won a national championship last year, right? It's doable, I think, if the right people are around and those things happen. That's what's fun about the game.
Right. I mean, what's your season like right now? Because you're in the 20 hours, and you have session tonight. Go into the tournament that you guys are doing with what is it? Grand Valley's the only Division II, I believe, and then it's you guys, Eastern, all the MAC schools in Michigan, and then all the Big Ten schools.
Yeah.
Is Oakland in it?
Yeah, so it came about, like, we actually spearheaded it, and we're like, you know, you play these spring seasons, you get 5 games, and, you know, we always take them pretty competitively just because we're big believers that, like, we play soccer to win. So, like, even if it's a spring friendly, you're still trying to win, right? Whether we're playing against Aquinas or we're playing against Michigan, we're still, like, the result matters, and that's why you play. Now, it's not the be-all and end-all in the spring, but that's the reason that you play. And some teams don't take it that way, right? Some teams, like, don't even keep score in the spring. They're just, like, practice games, which I personally don't believe in, but that's what we were finding. And then the kids, like, I think our players, they want something competitive because they like to compete. They love to compete at the weekend, right? So
they're sick of kicking each other.
Yeah, so we were like, if we put this together and we create this Michigan Spring Cup, it puts Michigan, Michigan State, us, Bowling Green, Central Michigan, Eastern Michigan, Oakland, Grand Valley. It gives you 2 pods of 4 that are kind of natural. You get your 3 games from it. You can choose to be as competitive as you want in them. If you want to just take them as friendlies and lose them all, you can. But at the end of the day, if it's a draw, it goes to penalty shootout. So you get a winner and a loser. We'll keep standings, and then the top 2 teams from each group play each other in a final. And Michigan State are going to host the final in Lansing.
Love it.
April 11, I think it is. So yeah, I think it'll be fun. And we got a trophy, and like there'll be a Michigan Spring Cup champion at the end of it that You can celebrate it or you can not celebrate it if you win it. It's completely up to you. But I think it'll be fun, and I think it's good for the players who want it and need it. And then it's also like an area in the spring where right now kids can't go watch a college soccer game, at least of any meaning, you know. And I think the idea is there's a chance that maybe April 11 you've got two really good Division 1 teams playing for a trophy, free access for everybody. I think it's a cool thing,
right? Could be Michigan State playing in the spring, which would never happen in other years.
Yeah, and hopefully it's not. Hopefully it's us, but
hopefully it's you guys.
We'll see. But yeah, it could be, and it's going to be two good teams, right? No matter what, it's going to be two good teams, and then again, kids can go watch that, right? And it's an opportunity. If you don't have a game that day, you can go out and watch some college soccer, and I think it's a cool thing. I mean, we'll see how it goes. We've never done it before, so.
One of the bad things about the 28, and Buffalo's been hit by this a few years, is in the spring season, they don't have enough to train a lot. They certainly cannot play 11v11. They would call in alumni to come in and play so that they can get 11v11. Do you guys go through that as well, where it's like, okay, well, we lost these two to transfer portal, these two are injured, and then these 5 just graduated?
Yeah, it happens, but I mean, we've never had it to that extent. Like, we're down. We graduated a pretty big class this year, but, you know, we also brought in 8. We brought in 4 freshmen early and 4 transfers. So, like, you know, we're at like 22, 23 right now. So, I mean, and we've never had it to that extent. And I think as the roster cycle gets going, I can't imagine teams are going to get to that extent. And if you are, it's usually, if teams are struggling for numbers, it's usually like a coaching change or a gap like that, right? That can really hit you. If a coach leaves on the winter break and you don't have a coach until summer, that's usually where you see, like, spring you might have 12 players, right? That could be a problem. But no, we've been okay with it.
Yeah. How do you, like, I've been so far removed from the college game for the most part, is how do you construct your roster? Like, if you're going to recruiting, let's say you're working on the 2027 class or 2028, you might be on the 28s by now. What do you go for, need, or do you go for the talent?
Yeah.
Like, okay, we have a graduating center back, we're going to have to fill this position.
Yeah. I always think it's 2, maybe it's 3 things for us, right? Like, number 1 is the need. So, you know, like, if you need a center back, you need a goalkeeper, you need a center forward.
First.
Need has to be like, what do we need? But it's hard because right now, you're right, we're starting on a 28 class. So, like, it seems like it's like 10 years away, doesn't it? But it's and it is a long time away, right? So, like, we don't know who's injured, who's developed, who comes by then. But anyway, you go by need, and we try and recruit the spine for the most part, right? Because I'm a believer that, like, if we recruit the spine right, we can slide those players outside when needed.
Exactly.
Right?
They're more versatile. They can play multiple positions.
Yeah, I think so. And then second is, I think we're always just looking for somebody that's going to level us up. You know, like, whatever that means, right? Like, we're looking for somebody that's too good for our level. I mean,
that can help us win the tournament.
Yeah, well, and I tell our kids that, right? The most frustrating thing I ever get is when you talk to some of these club guys, and they're like, you should recruit this player. She's a MAC player, or she's a Western Michigan player. And I'm like,
what is that?
What's a Western Michigan player? Have you seen us play? Like, it's help. And if she is, that's probably not the kid that we want to recruit, right? I mean, no coach is out there going like, yeah, I want to recruit a kid that's going to fit in, like, right in the middle or the bottom half of my roster, right? Like that. So as soon as it was like, oh, that's a MAC player, like, well, that's not going to work, right? Like, no MAC team is going to be out going, oh, she makes us average, right? Like, that doesn't happen. So we're looking for, like, players that have skills, attributes, tendencies that are too good for our team that are going to level us up in an area, right? And we try to find the one area that someone's going to make us better. And then I think the third thing is we're still big, and I don't know if everybody is, but we're still big on, like, we want kids that really want to be a part of it, you know, whatever that is. Want to be a part of our vision on a soccer field, want to be a part of Western Michigan as a school, want to be a part of Kalamazoo, a part of this community. Like, that's big. That means a lot. And that I think is why we haven't had many players or any players that we've wanted leaving. You know, you get players that are in, they commit more, they have more fun, they're more motivated. So I'd say those are our 3 kind of guiding principles for it.
How does a kid show you that they want to be a part of it while they're not here yet?
I mean, there's usually a story. You know, I tell people, like, I mean, I like to think that story isn't made up. But like we've had a couple in our class, right? Like we've had a couple. If I go through like a whole 27 class, we got a kid from Rockford who turned down a bunch of big Power 4 schools, and when she was going through the process was looking at everybody, but loved the way we play, loved our people, felt like she could be really successful in our team, and told us that from day one, and that excited us. We got a kid from the Hawks actually who is a defender who wants to go into aviation. We're one of the top aviation schools. I know for a fact she wants to be at Western Michigan, right? She loves the soccer side, she loves the school side, she's excited. So like everyone's story is a little bit different, but you've got to almost sell me on like, why do you want to be here? And it's not the same for everybody, because sometimes you end up bidding with, you know, these big schools that they're looking at everybody and they don't want to be at West Michigan. But I think when you find the right ones that really do, that's what we're all looking for, right? It doesn't always exist with every player, but I just think there's got to be some kind of story, right? Maybe the kid from Plymouth Rain, she came from a Bronco type family, right? I think one of the parents had been there, and there was a connection, and they were excited to get back on campus, and that, you know, the Hawks player we've got, like grandfather was in the Hall of Fame at Western, so like there's a family connection, yeah. So I think those things are always like really unique, and you're always looking for that, right? It just means a little bit more.
What's the best first point of contact from a recruit that you didn't have eyes on first? So is it an email? Is it just coming to camp? Like what?
I always think there's got to be. There's probably not one answer for me. I mean, you know, I know where we rack up on the totem pole, and we don't read all of the emails because you get too many of them, right? You just don't. You have days where like you just delete, or it misses it, and I like to think my assistant, a recruiting coordinator, adds everyone in the right way, but there's too many, right? And there's too many that you imagine they come from all over the place, right? You've got mom and dad in freaking whichever state they're in that are emailing every school in the country. So like you have so many. So email is a tough one. I always think if you do email and we don't know you, again, there has to be a story, right? The story will catch you. Like, are you you're an ECNL national level player, right? Like that might catch you right away. If it's played in whatever those national selection games are, that usually means you're the best player in that club. So we're always interested in that. I think if there's any like personal connection again, like that one, I want to study aviation. My family's from Kalamazoo. You're my number one school. Like those are things I think that catch attention there. I mean, we do a lot. Like I said, we do a lot of recruiting through networks. So it's who's your club director, who's your coach. If a coach picks up the phone and talks to you, that usually means something, right? I mean, it doesn't always mean everything. That?
Those connections with other coaches and club coaches and other college coaches. Mm-hmm. How
it's big, yeah, it's big. But you know, Jason, it's not like you take all of them. I mean, I won't name them, but there's a few people even in this state that I will never take a player from because they've already burnt me or burnt other people, right? With like, this player's amazing, and you should never do your research just off what a coach says anyway. But when that coach is looking at me saying, "Oh, this player's amazing, this player's amazing, this player's amazing," and they're not, right? They're just lying to you to try to get the players placed in the right places. You lose respect pretty quick too. So kind of that way, but it means a lot. We have a handful of people that we trust, you know, and you never take a player from a coach and just follow it blindly. But like,
of course,
there's leads that you trust, right? And you know, these guys don't lie. They don't oversell what this player can do, what this player can't do. That's important to me as well.
I learned that from Demir when I was with Vardar. I assisted him. And that's what he would say. He's like, I'm not going to go to bat for you just for you to screw me over in my relationship with this coach. Mm-hmm. You know, and at first, I didn't know if that was true. But in my last 10 years, I'm like, oh, that is definitely true, because a lot of clubs don't do anything to help with recruiting because they want to have a good reputation. Yeah. Because you're one bad recruit away from that coach never recruiting from your club again, and that gives the club a bad look. Or if you're constantly, as a club, you constantly have college players in the transfer portal. Like, that's a stat that some people are trying to track, especially in Western New York. Oh, yeah. They are doing that, and it's bad.
Well, and you can't, I mean, I know you've had a few on here, like, you can't expect these club directors, as much as I know they try, to also know every team, right? Know every game. And I can tell you, like, in the MAC, what is it, 12 teams now? They're all completely different. And not a bad thing. Like, there are kids that will, like, go in and play at in Western Michigan, I'd say that we're a very unique style of play, right? Like we're really fast tempo, we're really transitional. Like we play a very, very fast attacking brand of soccer. There's a lot of teams that build out all the time to a fault too. So you've got Miami, Ohio, who put the ball in the box every time they get it, right? So like the player that would fit there. So for the club director that says, "Oh, that's a MAC player," that's completely different. You know what I mean? Like you need 3 different players in those 3 teams that like will look completely different, right? There's a Miami player that like wouldn't fit in ours. There's Western players that wouldn't be able to drop into I don't know, who's the example, like Bowling Green, right, to play out the back all the time. There's some of my players that have won everything, been all conference players that wouldn't fit in that team, and vice versa, you know what I mean? So I just think for a club director too, to be able to pick up the phone and say like, "Lewis, this player's you," that's not their responsibility. Like you've got to say, what is this player good at? What is she not good at? What's her ceiling, right? That's what we're all trying to figure out. Where is she going to get to in 3 years' time? And then the rest of it is on you to figure out, right? And I tell our staff, and our staff do a good job at Midwest United of that too. Like Rudy and his staff is like, don't lie to these people, you know. Don't get on the phone and tell a college coach that she's going to be amazing, because you don't know that. Right? There's still 2 years to go. I mean, she might quit by then, right? She might not invest. She might not. I mean, you can tell them what you know about them, and then the college coach has to figure out like if it fits into their game model, their style of what their team's trying to do, and that's what matters, I think, right?
How important is it that kids at Midwest, when they're looking at schools, they watch the games and see if they fit in that style of play?
Yeah.
Because one of my girls that's at Arkansas, she brought that up, and she was on the podcast, and she brought that up. And I'm like, yes, 1,000% yes, because she's like, I don't want to build out of the back. I don't want to like work on like I don't want to do juggling tests and training. I want to run.
Yeah. That's a great
and
example,
the SEC,
right?
you got to be able to run, and you got to be at Arkansas. You got to be tall.
Yeah.
I mean, she's.
And you got to be wired a certain way.
6 foot.
Yeah, you got to be wired a certain way to play in that team too. But I always laugh though at the kids are like, it's about winning, right? Youth soccer is all about winning, and they grow up in the whole youth career to win, and then they go and commit to like a Power 4 team that hasn't won more than 3 games in the last 10 years. You know, and you're like, when it really becomes about winning, like you're guaranteed to lose in that place, right? Just because the level is so high, and you're in a conference with North Carolina, like you're gonna lose, right?
Yeah, good luck.
I always think that's funny, but I agree, man. I think watching the game is massive, and not, you know, nobody does, right? Not enough people do. But when the people do, I think it fits, because I mean we're lucky here in West Michigan, right? Like we've got Western Michigan down the road, we've got a bunch of great D3 schools, NAIA schools, and we got Grand Valley 15 minutes up the road too. So like you want to like play good soccer and you want to compete at national championships. I mean, over the years we've had a lot of top Midwest United players have gone Grand Valley, you know, and then went to Aquinas and like places like that, just because it's a lot of these people they want to compete like that, you know, and that's important. And some right, some wrong, but I think it's not a uniform straight to one level for everybody, is it? And all good players, it's not a straight shoot to get to one space.
Right. We'll start like to wrap this up, but you just lost your assistant coach, right? To Central?
Yeah. Sorry, I forgot about him. I try to delete him out of my mind as much as I can now. You know, that's how that works.
The enemy.
Yeah. No, it's great. It's great.
I mean, go into that. I mean, how long was he with you?
Yeah, it was a weird one. And you should chat with him. He's a great guy and a great coach.
Yeah.
But so he took over. I've known him a long time. We're from similar towns in England. So when I left Aquinas, he was he was a men's assistant and a friend at Aquinas, so we kind of vouched for him and pushed him what that's worth to get that job, and he did amazing things there. He took over that program at Aquinas, I think really added his own flavour, and things had a load of success there. And then, like I alluded to, I think some of the challenges at that smaller level and budgets and resources and the frustrations that you deal with, I think maybe got a little bit too much for him. I think he was always looking to get in a Division 1 game. I think he went pretty close in a couple of interviews and fell out to the old "you don't have Division 1 experience" bit at the end. And
Did you go through that?
No, I didn't. I had a pretty unique one, though. I mean, just being down the road. Yeah, but that was something. I mean,
true.
I guess my AD had to vouch for. But no, I didn't, and I never went through the process much with it either.
Right.
But he did, and then so he wanted the experience, and he came to me last year and was like, "I want to come and be a part-time assistant for you to get some experience, and it looks like fun, and can I?" I'm like, "Hell yeah, you know, of course you can." And he brought the head coach experience and added a huge personality into our coaching room, and benefited our team so much, and such a good guy and a great coach. So I think we reaped some big rewards from him last year with our staff, both as a program, and I think our staff got better as well. And I figured we'd get him for a couple of years, and then when the central job opened up, it was too much of a home run for him. I think it's closer to home for him. He lives in the Lansing area, and it's a great job, that central one for him. I think it's the next step, and he'll do great things, and it's a good place. And then ironically, our first spring game since he's left is against Central on Sunday, so it'll be fun. And it's I know our girls are looking forward to it. They've been planning all the different crap they can talk to him from the bench and from the field, so it should be a fun day with lots of chirping at each other, I think.
How do you build your staff? Well, what do? You want a goalkeeper, you want a trainer, you want a recruiting coordinator, you want somebody that does the day-to-day stuff that no coach wants to do mostly.
Yeah, we're different, man. I think we've been pretty unique in that, like, my staff's been with me for a few years. Like, I've got Nate Van Ryan, who's our goalkeeper coach, recruiting coordinator, much more than a regular goalkeeper coach. He doesn't just train the goalkeepers. He trains the goalkeepers and oversees them and does an amazing job. But he's also, like, got his hands in everything. I think he's like a head coach, goalkeeper coach, basically. He hasn't wanted to be a head coach. Like, he's had some opportunities, and he's had some opportunities to go to big schools. And I think he's enjoyed what we do. I think he enjoys the challenge. He's got family here in West Michigan too, so he's a West Michigan guy. So, we've had him, and his role has just kind of evolved, and that he's been with me long enough from Aquinas here that he knows the day-to-day, does everything with us, and does a really good job in the recruiting networks as well. And then we were very lucky. 3 years ago, we added Paige Eli, who was the head coach at Davenport University. So I've known Paige a long time, and Paige is one of the best too.
That's right here too.
Yeah, one of the best on-field coaches you'll work with, and a great person. And I think she'd been head coach at Davenport, same thing, dealing with the challenges of Division II and NAIA type schools. The cutting resources, the headaches that you have as a head coach at a smaller school without the back end, without the resources we have at Division I level. And I think Paige kind of got to a point where she was getting annoyed with not coaching soccer as much and all the other things she was doing.
And doing everything else, being an administrator.
Yeah, so her deal in coming into our program was like, I try to design a role where she gets to coach soccer, right? Which, as you know, not many of us college coaches get to do that too much, with everything else. So Paige takes the lead there, and she's awesome. She's very, very good on the field. She's obviously got really good head coach experience, helps with everything else, and that's how we kind of work as a staff. And then we've actually replaced James DeCosmo with a player that just graduated this year, Maddie Canada. She graduated this fall, and she's coming back in the fall to get into coaching. So she's going to be a really new.
She's center back,
but holding mid, play center back a little bit as well. Yeah, she'll be great, and she brings a new perspective to our staff, and we'll round it out right. And has been a big part of the success that we've had the last 3 years. So
how important do you think that is? Because it's like, hey, I've been through it. This is how it goes. Just trust the process.
Honestly, Jason, ask me in a year, right? Because we'll see. Because I've never done it before. I know here in the club, like, we've tried to bring in some people that graduated, and it's been fun. It's always nice when you have kids that go through the process, come back and coach. It's awesome. I hope so. I think Maddie's got, she's been through it. She's sat in a chair. She's failed. She's succeeded. She's been a big part of everything. She grew up in Hawks, so she's done it all at the club level as well. So I think it can be great. She's a great person, which is really important too, and she wants to learn, and she really wants to be a coach, which is really important when you're 22 years old. So
exactly.
I don't know. Everything I tell myself says she's going to be great, but we'll see in a year, and see how that goes. But I think she'll give us, in our coaching room, she'll give us a different perspective on things, right? Because I think she'll naturally be able to tell us. I think she'll look at the beginning from a player's point of view, and she'll be in that transition, which we all went through, right, from a player to a coach, which will be unique, and I'm looking forward to it.
Last question: why girls? Why on the girls' side and not on the boys' side?
So for me, there was never a plan to it. I just fell into it.
Did it.
Here I was actually coaching a team, so I got into coaching boys. I actually coached that team with Remco Bergsma. So Remco Bergsma
Where
was
is
the
Remco?
coach. He's still in town.
Is he still coaching?
No. He's runs a huge furniture company. I see him quite a bit. Yeah, he's still around. He's a big supporter of the club, and he's around. But I was his assistant.
You coached that team?
I was his assistant. So he actually, I learned a lot from that guy, man.
What year was that? Do you remember?
No.
He had a team, 2000s.
Yeah, that was Eric Connolly and those boys, right? The young ones, Caden Jackman.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and my team, my little Lobos team, beat Lobos Wizards. We beat them, and I think it was a tournament out here, or maybe it was the Jags tournament. And he was so mad at me, and we knew each other because of the older boys that we, the Conardys and stuff, and he was so mad at me.
He could get mad on a good day. That's for sure.
He was.
So when I first moved here, I started working with him, and he was. He taught me a lot, man. I had a lot of really good things, and that team, working with that team every day, and he did a lot of that, right? A lot of that team's success came from like his personality and his drive, and he's such an elitist in the way that he trains and the way that he coaches.
Absolutely.
So I took a lot from him for sure, and still do. But yeah, he's around. So I got into boys, then I was coaching them, and then from there I coached our 99 girls, which was a really good team, and then the 2000 girls, and then I actually was coaching with GRFC in the old like MPSL.
Yeah.
Remember when that was a thing down here, and they had a huge following, and so I was on the men's side there, and then I coached the women's team, and then I just kind of fell into the women's side, and that was it. Before long, I was like coaching 3 teams, and I've liked it, man. It's different, right? I miss the men's game, like coaching it, but nice thing is here I get to stay connected with it, and like our USL2 team, and even at Western Michigan, I regularly like go sit in on the men's practices and just watch and support it, and I'm very connected with it. So I like my world that I live in both, but I've just fallen into it on the women's side, and I've enjoyed it. There's a lot of big strengths there,
Of course, yeah. Thank you so much.
Yes, it's fun. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for the tour. I mean, I'm still blown away. I didn't know. I never knew why more clubs don't do this. And the importance of having your own facility is massive because of the costs.
Why don't they, do you think? Like on the east side, where everybody rents fields, why does nobody do this, do you think?
I don't know. Stop paying other people when you could be paying yourself, but you'll have complete control over your own facility. But it's ridiculous when all they do is rent it out because they have to make ends meet. Yeah. I think that's part of it, and maybe, at least in Buffalo, the clubs aren't big enough to support it because they maybe only have 1,000 kids, not 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. Right. But I think there's ways. Like, do you think fundraising is real? Like you would know, or is fundraising or is sponsorships? Does that go a long way? It doesn't really go that far.
No, I mean, I think in managing our budget here is like, the lion's share of what we're a non-profit, right? So we're also, that's different to a lot of other clubs, right? The for-profit LLC clubs where one guy owns the thing and you're making those decisions based sometimes on, depending how big or small you are, on mortgage payments and what you do as a business, right? I don't have to do that. So like we've got a board of directors and we're a well-established non-profit organization. So there's negatives to that in that, me or whoever else is in charge, you don't own it. You don't, generate the wealth and the responsibility over time from it. But it's also like, I love the positives that like, this isn't my club, right? I just serve in the seat right now and oversee things and report to the board. And when I leave, someone else will step in that seat.
Right.
And I think that's a great thing in like youth soccer because it keeps us honest and it allows you to make your decisions and my board to make decisions on what's best for the club, not what's best for me or my leaders, right? It's that's where we are as a club. And I think that might make it a little bit easier for us. So we are able to say like investing this little bit of money is better off going into this facility because that's going to serve the club for the next 5 years, right? Which it's done. So maybe there's that side of it. But back to your budget question, like the lion's share of our income and the budget comes still from player dues and what they do.
Exactly.
So it's allocating the right amounts of that to go into the facility side of it, right? But I just think what we all pay in rentals, if you rent universities, you rent high schools,
It's
can be done.
unbelievable.
It's just a lot of work. It takes a lot of good people too, though, right? Like we're lucky. We've got. I mean, you've seen them around here. We've got a lot of good people. You know, we got people that manage facilities, people that keep them looking nice, people that deal with the problems that you have when you own facilities, and we've got those people, and a few of them, and that helps. You know.
I was at B license, C license years and years ago, and the topic came up of club development, and they said, okay, they listed off a bunch of things like staff, training rooms, facility, methodologies and stuff like that, and they wanted us to rank them, and everybody put facility last, and he's like, guys, you all got this wrong. Facility needs to come first because staff comes and goes. It's always changing. And if you're a 5013C, don't you have to have a board? Mm-hmm. You have to have a board that you answer to, and a lot of soccer people don't like boards. Mm-hmm. So, but the facility comes first. Build the facility first. Yeah. Then that will take away a lot of headaches. Mm-hmm. And I am going to have somebody on the podcast that I just met with this past week, and they said that there are clubs on the east side that are basically buying up every single hour of all the facilities and locking them out, but they're not even using it sometimes. They'll pay, and they'll offer like, hey, this is normally $570 or $800. We'll give you $1,000 to not rent to them.
Yeah.
And it's like,
that's insane, isn't it?
Ooh, this is a little bit different than Western New York.
Yeah. Well, I think that there's two things there to what you talked about. Is like facilities in West Michigan, and probably Michigan and Western New York as well, is so important as well, because we know we get a lot of snow and we get a lot of crap weather in the winter. So like, we have to have turf, right? I mean, we all know we all love grass and nobody wants to play on turf, but like, we have to have turf.
We
don't
have
turf. We don't have a soccer club.
Exactly.
Like, we have to have turf. So because like right now our teams are training outside every night, and it's March, right? Like, they have to have turf surfaces. So this indoor surface, the new indoor facility we're doing on the other side of town,
right.
This one, they're all turf. So it means we can put teams on there. Right now, again, we got a beautiful grass field over there, but hasn't been used in 4 months. You know, it probably won't be used until end of April,
exactly.
May maybe, right? So I think that the facilities piece where we are is so important, man, and maybe more important than, facilities might not matter as much if you're in the warmer climates where you can be outside 5 days a week, right?
That's one of the most annoying things that I have when somebody says, we need to end this pay to play. How? Yeah, you can get that in the utopia of San Diego, where you could just hop on a field or whatever. There's 4 feet of snow in Petoskey. What do you want them to do?
Right,
Just, don't play those 6 months. Mm-hmm. And then you're so far behind.
When you try to end the pay-to-play, I'm like, there's great parts of pay-to-play too, right? There's $1 million facilities out here that kids get to use. We're paying them off, but that's it, right? There's indoor facilities, there's licensed coaches, there's full-time administrators, there's film, there's access to other programming. Like, you don't have that in other countries, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
That's what pay-to-play brings. So as long as we've got the money to pay it, as long as it's done the right way, right? There's flaws with pay-to-play, of course, and back to the board thing you mentioned, man. I mean, like, a lot of people don't like a board of directors, but I think they get a bad rep depending on who the board of directors are. I speak for Midwest United. Like, we have an amazing board of directors. We have 4 people, and they're all great. They're all in it for the club. They all have a different background of experience. They support me. They challenge me. They hold me accountable, but they don't step in every day to say, this is what I want it to be, right? They're all from different areas, different backgrounds. They're not currently like tied into the club, and they're great. That's how a board, I think, is supposed to work. It's a group of people that hold me accountable to our strategic plan, to our mission, which is to grow the game of soccer in West Michigan. And if I ever start doing things that don't align with that mission, they're able to reel me in and hold on to that, ultimately choose if they keep me along for the ride or not, or if they go a different direction, right? And I think that's how a board of directors is supposed to work, and I lean on them a lot. I ask them questions when we need it. Their financial responsibilities, so they have a deep dive into financials always to make sure that the club is sustainable and the company is sustainable, which they do a great job of. So again, we might be pretty unique in that area, but we've got a really good board of directors that I really appreciate, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, they have to be good. I mean, look at this place. It's unbelievable. I'm going to take some video of out there and whatnot and post it because people need to see this and be like, why can't we do something like this?
Yeah. Well, like I told you, I've spoke with a couple of friends in the state who've asked for some help with it, and what we've done, just copy, right? And believe me, listen, we haven't. I wouldn't say we're perfect. I think I told you when you came over here, right? I've learned in the 5 years I've been in this role, like, so much, and we've made so many mistakes. And like opening this indoor facility was one we've done in the last year, and I'm like, if we could go back and do it again, we've done things way different.
You learn a lot opening up your own facility.
Yeah, but we figured it out, and again, we got good people that we've managed to, make it through when there's been problems and figure that piece out. And again, I think I'm happy to share the lessons we learned, and I have already with some smaller clubs over there, and I know there's a couple of others that want to steal those lessons to hopefully not make the same mistakes too.
I can't believe there's no 11v11 fields, indoor fields over here.
I know. Yeah, we stopped pursuing it though. We stopped pursuing it. We were pretty close to it a few years ago, and then it's not on my list anymore. And the reason being, our seasons go through mid-December. And we stay outside for the most part, 90% of the time, right? We put warm clothes on, we go out there under the lights. Lights are massive as well, by the way, because it gets dark at 6 o'clock, so lights are huge. But we go out there.
You don't want people driving up and just using your car lights.
Oh, yeah, and then
the whole days.
We were looking at it, but then we're like, our indoor season really is January, February. And like as of last week, we were back outside again. So we're like, realistic, when you map out your schedule, it ends up being like 8 or 9 weeks that like Midwest United players are truly playing indoor soccer, can't go outside. So like for those 8 or 9 weeks, like you've seen our facility here, like it does the job. We flip our programming, so we obviously focus on really technical stuff. We do a lot of futsal as support of soccer.
Yeah.
But we found like in 8 or 9 weeks we can do that. We do it at a fraction of the price in a facility like this. And then people want to be outside again. And I've just felt like when I've done my rounds this winter in all these facilities, you go to these 11v11 fields that they're spending $800 an hour on, and they got 12 teams trained on them. So like when you actually do the math and you look at the square footage for what each team is doing, it's not like you're seeing a team, you go over there and you're seeing them playing 11v11 on it. Like there's 300 kids on the field, you know what I mean? So like they're still training in the same space as this. So I was just like, why are we trying to build a $10 million facility out here when... And then, as you know, a lot of those places, they're all gone out of business. They're all switching owners because everyone's getting out of them.
Yeah.
And then when it gets to May, do people really want to be in
the
dome at Wixom? Like, no. They don't, right? They want to be outside. And I think it would be nice to have, but I've always said, like, now, like, if someone comes along and says, there's $10 million, do it, I'm all in, right? It'd be cool to have it. But if we're prioritizing, like, where our next facility project goes, it's not going to an 11v11 indoor facility, and we can drive 2 hours and be on the east side playing against good teams. So like we do, right? We do those Jags events. Nationals, I think, are putting one up in Lansing, I heard. So that's going to be an hour down the road. So I'm sure we'll support those. And when they want us to come in and play, we'll do it. And we'll pay an astronomical amount of money, I'm sure, to play in those games. But it's just not on my priority list as it. I just don't think it... I just don't think it makes sense.
Somebody keeps on messaging me talking about wanting to open up their own facility, and I'm like, and she's like, well, this has to be a moneymaker. It's not. It's not.
No.
And they are going out of business, and they're selling, and they're turning them into office buildings, and like Ultimate, and it's like,
don't you think?
Good luck.
Again, that's another thing I'm definitely nowhere near an expert on, but I'm like, everyone seems to be switching owners or selling, right? I'm like, that doesn't happen in booming industries,
because
right?
They want to get out.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons. That's another reason why I wanted to get out, of Buffalo, really, outside of the podcast focus. Is like running your own facility, even if it's small, it's a lot of work for just a one-man lift. It's hard.
Yeah, and that's what we've like this space with a 6v6 indoor field. Our new space in Byron Center is going to be like a smaller training space. They're easy to manage. It's a small office space. It's enough to train a team with, but it doesn't come with that whole like managing 11v11 dome or managing those monster facilities you have on the east side. Like, you're right, it's a different beast. When you're charging $800 an hour for it, like, it's a whole different universe in it. And I just don't think we have that. I know I'm waiting for one of the colleges to do it. I think a couple of the local high schools here are putting up these like football training facilities now, which might be easier for them, right, to use some taxpayer dollars and get it done that way.
Exactly.
But I don't think it's coming from us.
What's the Western facility like?
It's great. Yeah, it's great. It's 80 by 60.
Okay.
So it's not 11v11, but you can play 10s
Gets the
on
job
it.
done.
It's enough again for winter. Yeah, it is. You'd love it to be an extra 20 yards, but it's fine.
Exactly. You just adapt. And so
Grand Valley has one too. Grand Valley's is really nice. They play 11v11 games on it. It's tight, but it's the same thing. It's enough, and they do a few tournaments and stuff. So it's around. I just don't know if anyone's doing it and making sense with it, right? The few people that have reached out to me about like investing, same thing. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if it's the best move.
I actually had a hard time renting out my space because it was small, and people are like, well, how am I supposed to work on set pieces in here? I'm like, you coach a U9 girls B team. Why are you working on set pieces? It's like,
and that's why ours are nice, is they function with the club, right? Because we have to find those spaces for teams, and then we fill it with our extra programming, and our only rule of the program is it's got to benefit the players in the club, and then it's got to keep the lights on, And I think if you do it that way, it's a lot easier to run extra programming, right?
yeah.
Man. And then also you got good people that take care of it. I mean, that's the other side, right? Like here is nice because we don't rent it out to other people.
And you
don't come in
respect
here
it.
and it's smashed up. Yeah,
everybody
there's
respects
food
it
on the
more.
floor and,
Right.
Yeah, it's nice that way.
I'll rent it out to lacrosse, and they just destroy everything, and they don't care.
No. They come and complain to you and say, go fix it.
Man, thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
It's been fun chatting finally.
Yeah, exactly. And I love doing it in person. I'm not on the whole like Zoom thing. I'm gonna add something to that, like behind a paywall and stuff like that, and do more, because I get DMs from all over the country of like, hey, I want to come on the podcast. It's like, I only do it in person because it's just so much better.
Yeah,
So, but
It's great.
I appreciate your time, man.
Of course, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
I hate soccer.